have like a restful, the typical child's pose, right? So make it restful, and if it's helpful to have a pillow behind your knees, a block under your head, anything else, go there, go for it. We really want now the body to relax as best as you can. So maybe some open mouth exhales, allowing things to kind of let go and soften. And as many open mouth exhales as you need today. And the symbolism, not only the physicality of that softening, that release of your exhales, but also that symbolism of just letting go of whatever happened before now. Maybe that visual of putting those things to the side and then, trusting that if you need to pick them up, they'll be there. And if they're not there, it's that you didn't need them. And choosing to stay present on your mat for the next 50 minutes or so. And as you tune into your breath, begin to breathe a bit more uniformly. So trying to make your inhales and your exhales a similar length. And then notice how the inhales expand through the rib cage, through the chest. And then notice how your chest and your ribs draw back towards center, towards midline as you breathe out. Maybe in this more restful child's pose, your chest drops a bit more towards the floor, towards your thighs as you exhale. And you might be able to feel that back body expand a bit more towards the ceiling as you inhale. Find a few more cycles right here, still in this restful, more relaxed pose. And then we'll begin to make this child's pose a bit more active. And from the outside, it might seem like not much changes, but you're definitely probably going to feel it from within. So begin with your arms and send your fingers forward if they're not there already. And even if they're there already, send them a little further, coming onto the fingertips, your palms, your forearms, your elbows are going to lift. And then try to turn the insides of your elbows to face one another, or even as if you were trying to spiral the inner part of your elbow towards the ceiling. See how that feels in your upper back, and maybe you feel a bit more space appear between your ears and your shoulders. And again, pressing through those fingertips, a bit more active through those arms. And then find a bit more action through your legs. So any part of your legs that is in touch with ground, begin to push into the ground. So if your shins, the tops of the feet are on the ground, as you begin to push, see if you can feel your outer hips engage, maybe even your glute muscles, your thighs. Take a full inhale. And then with your next exhale, soften. And again, release all that tension, let your arms drop and even bend your elbows, hold on to opposite elbows and let your forehead now rest on your forearms. Allow again the body to soften and relax towards the ground and take a breath in and a breath out. One more here, breathing in and breathing out. And then extend your arms out in front of you once again, but this time come onto the pinky side of your hands. So your thumbs are pointing up towards the ceiling and the palms are facing one another. And then with your fingertip, your pinky finger side on the ground, try drawing the wrist towards your shoulders, keeping your arms extended. So suddenly your shoulder blades kind of drew down towards your back ribs. And then push down into that side of your hand, into the ground. And keep pushing. And let's do it for a count of 5. So give it as much as you can for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. And then soften through those arms. Again, hold on to opposite elbows. Maybe bring your arms a bit closer to you so your child's pose might just shorten a little bit. Forehead rests on the ground. Maybe even a little rounding through that upper back and back ribs. Full inhale and a full exhale. And then one more thing here with those shoulders, we're going to go into a thread the needle from this child's pose. So again, lift your torso just a little bit more. Your left hand is going to plant and you're going to then thread your right arm under that left. So bringing that right shoulder as close to the ground as you can and the head onto the ground, the side of your head. So you're looking to your left. If you need to, bring a block here or a pillow. And then walk your left fingers forward, as far forward as you can. Now here, push down through that right hand, the top of your hand, and through the outer part of your right shoulder. Take a breath in and take a breath out. Keep that posture with your right arm and then lift your left arm towards the ceiling. Make a fist and rotate through the left wrist in one direction. And then the other. Keep pushing through the right arm. And then extend those left fingers, turn the palm, and then drop the hand to the lower back and slide it towards your right hip. So it's coming all the way across the back body. Take a full inhale and a full exhale. And then with your next breath in, left arm reaches up, bring it and plant that hand by your face, and then undo this, thread the needle, and we'll go straight to the other side. So left arm now is going to thread under the right, and you could do this with your sit bones on your heels, but if you need to lift them a bit more, you could do that too. Left hand, palm is facing up, left shoulder to the mat, gazing towards the right. And then walking your right fingers forward, as far forward as is available right now on fingertips. Keep your sit bones drawing towards the heels and feel a stretch through the right side. Breath in, breath out. And then remember to push down into the floor with your left arm, top of the hand, outer part of the shoulder. With your next inhale, your right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Make a fist and find your rotation here in one direction. And then switch. And then we'll open up that right palm, turn it, and then drop that hand lower back, slide it towards the left hip. And a couple breaths. Again, think about stretching through the outer part of that left shoulder, left side of the upper back. And then inhale, right arm reaches up, plant the hand by your face, and then undo this, thread the needle on this side. One more time into child's pose, coming forward and down with the torso, arms in front of you, but this time bring the palms to touch and bend your elbows. So your elbows are more or less shoulder width, and then your forearms are going to lift up towards the ceiling, fingers are pointing towards the ceiling. Drop the head, and then those thumbs might come towards the back of the head. See if you can feel a stretch through the triceps, through the armpit. And then give an extra push through your elbows. Breathing in and breathing out. One more here. And releasing those hands, and now walking those hands towards you. We're going to come and sit on the heels, but see if you can tuck your toes And then sit on your heels. So you're giving the soles of the feet a stretch. And if this is uncomfortable, you might be able to kind of hold it for a moment. But then if it becomes too much or painful, feel free to find a different seat. We'll just stay for a moment here to stretch the soles of the feet, which is a good thing too for down dogs, because if you think about down dogs, you're stretching the whole back line of the body, and the soles of the feet are part of it too. So take a full breath in and take a full breath out. And then as you inhale, reach your arms overhead. And on your exhale, right hand down by your side. Maybe it reaches the floor, maybe on fingertips. And then find a side stretch, left side body. As you inhale, come back through center. And then take it over to the other side. Left arm down, maybe on your fingertips. And side stretch for the right. As you inhale, come back through center, bring the hands behind you and interlace them at your lower back, and then send the knuckles towards the floor. Squeeze the shoulder blades and open up through the chest, maybe even look up. Breathing in and breathing out. With your next inhale, release, reach your arms overhead. And now on your exhale, lower those hands, kind of framing your knees. And then from here, with your hands, see if you can lift your knees and come to stand on the balls of the feet. So your chest is getting really close to your thighs. You might find a little balance here. So if you've got it in you, you might try lifting your hands off the ground. You're still on the balls of the feet. Your knees are lifted. You might even wrap your arms around your shins, dropping the head. It's quite the balanced pose. So just take it slow and be patient. Breathe in and breathe out. And if your hands were lifted, let's bring those fingertips back to the ground. Lower your heels and then straighten your legs. Come all the way into a forward fold. Hold on to opposite elbows, sway a bit, forward and back. Wiggle those toes. They probably were a little stressed after that, so give them a little stretch here. And then draw the chin towards the chest. Find space and lengthen the back of your neck. Another breath in. And another breath out. With your next inhale, come into a halfway lift. Plant your right hand under your nose, maybe on the floor or on a block. Bend into your right knee and then send your left arm towards the ceiling as you turn your torso towards the left. Left leg is straightening, right knee is bending. Push through the bottom hand, breathing in. And then on your exhale, lower left hand, replace the right, switch the knees, left knee bends, right leg straightens, right arm towards the ceiling, and you're turning your torso towards the right side. Breathing in and breathing out. Let's do this one more time. Right hand plants, turn towards the left, bend into your right knee, straighten the left. And left hand plants over to the other side. Right hamstring stretch and twist to the right. And then coming back through center, bending into both knees, bring your hands to your hips and vertebra by vertebra, rise all the way up to stand. Finding yourself in mountain pose, arms are by your side, you're probably at the back of your mat. Take a breath. With your next inhale, reach your arms overhead. And as you exhale, right arm down, side stretch. Inhale, coming back through center. Exhale to your other side. Inhale, back through center. Interlace those fingers overhead. Turn the palms towards the ceiling and push those palms away. Maybe float those heels off the ground. Take a breath in. On your exhale, if your heels are lifted, gently lower them. Arms go wide and fold all the way down. Inhale into a halfway lift, lengthening spine. And exhale, folding forward. On your inhale, walk your hands to the top of the mat and find yourself in plank pose. And once you're in plank pose, move a little bit. So you might even lift one hand and the other as you shift your weight from side to side. And then plant both hands, and you might shift forward and back. So you're really coming onto your tippy toes and then back onto the balls of the feet. And then find stillness for a breath in and for a breath out. One more inhale. And now on your exhale, lift those sit bones up and back and find yourself in downward facing dog. Adjust your stance if you need to. And then a little movement, straighten, bend those knees. Pushing the floor away with those hands. And then bring your awareness to your upper back and think about broadening upper back. So as if your shoulder blades were trying to wrap towards the armpits. And see if you can find a bit more space between ears and shoulders by broadening that upper back. Another breath in. Breath out. And now on your inhale, lift your heels coming onto the balls of the feet. And now begin to bend the knees straight down towards the floor so your upper body stays in down dog. Hover the knees over the mat for a moment. Keep pushing the floor away with your hands. And then release those knees all the way down. Bring yourself into a table pose. Hands under your shoulders and knees under your hips. Untuck your toes and give the tops of the feet a press against the mat. Maybe wiggle your toes. With your next inhale, drop the belly. Bring the chest forward, cow pose. And as you exhale, round the spine into cat. 2 more times, breathing in, cow. And breathing out, and cat. 1 more, inhale. And exhale. Now with your next inhale, neutral spine and left leg rises all the way out behind you. And as you exhale, plant the ball of the foot, send the heel away. Take a full breath in. And then float your right shin off the mat. Exhale. Another inhale. And exhale, lowering that right knee down. Left leg rises, breath in. And on your exhale, send that left foot over towards the right and tap the floor. Inhale, extend, center. And exhale towards the left and tap. And again, inhale, center. Over towards the right and tap. And inhale, center. And towards the left and tap. 1 more time, center, towards the right, and center, and towards the left. Once you've got it at the left, plant the whole of your foot, your toes are pointing forward, and then your left arm is going to open up to the side and up towards the ceiling, breathing in. And then on your exhale, thread under the right and look to the right. Inhale, open. Exhale, thread. And inhale, open. And exhale, and thread. Now as you inhale, open to the left. And on your exhale, send that left arm all the way forward. Come onto your right forearm. And then walk your left fingers even further. Full breath in. And a full breath. With your next inhale, walk that left hand back, come back onto both hands, and then engage through outer left hip. We're going to lift that left leg, breathing in. And then on your exhale, send it back, toes point down, and come back into your table pose, knee under hip. Switching sides, when you're ready, right leg rises. And as you exhale, plant the ball of the foot. Press that heel away, draw the lower belly in, push the floor away, and see if you can float the left shin off the ground. Full breath in. And full breath out. Another inhale. And then lowering that left shin, right leg rises, breath in. Exhale, send it over to the left and tap. Inhale, center. Over to the right and tap. Again, inhale, center. And to your left. And inhale, center. And to the right. 1 more like that. Breathing in. Breathing out. And breathing in. And breathing out. This time we're planting that right foot. It's more or less aligned with your left knee. And then inhale, right arm towards the ceiling. Open up to the side. Thread, exhale. Again, breathing in, open. Exhale, thread. One more, inhale. And exhale to thread. Now as you inhale, open. And swim that right arm forward. Come onto those fingertips. Come onto the left forearm. And you might be able to walk your right fingers a little further. Keep pushing down through the pinky toe side of your right foot. Keep sending those sit bones up and back. Maybe relax the neck, the face. Another breath. That right hand is walking back towards us. We're coming back onto both hands. Engage outer right hip, lift. And then send that right leg back. And come back into your table pose. Nice job. Let's find just one more stretch for that chest. So puppy pose, those knees and those hips stay in line. Those hands go wide and forward. And let's drop that chest towards the mat. And the same thing in puppy pose, like in child's pose, like in most of the poses that we do, that is a version that is a bit more passive, relaxing, restful, and there is a version that is a bit more active. So let's just explore both. So this would be a bit more passive, really notice that stretch through your armpits, chest. And then to make it a bit more active, bring your arms more parallel, shoulder width. And then again, come to the pinky side of your hands and your arms. So the inner part of your elbow is facing one another, palms are facing. And then begin to push a bit more through the pinky side of your hands and see if you can lift your forearms and elbows off the ground if they're not already. Think about your head being more or less between your upper arms, so you're looking down. And keep pushing through the pinky side. Take another breath. And then on your exhale, relax and release. Walk your hands towards you. We're coming back to stand on those knees, those feet. So see if you can tuck your toes once again and get that stretch through the soles of the feet. Okay. Take a full inhale. And take a full exhale. All right, so again, a bit of balance. Previously, the version before, we used the fingers and we pushed ourselves onto the balls of the feet. You're welcome to do that. I sometimes fall if I don't use my fingers, but if you want, you could try doing it without using your hands. So you send your arms forward, your weight goes back, and see if you can lift your knees off the ground, stay on the balls of the feet without using your hands. It's a bit tricky. And then once you are lifted, again, hands on the ground, or you could bring your hands to your heart. Take a breath in. Push the floor away with those toes, with the balls of the feet. And then on your exhale, see if you can lower your heels and then come all the way into a forward fold. Let yourself hang for a moment. Wiggle those toes. Take a breath in. And take a breath out. With your next inhale, hands to your hips, vertebra by vertebra, rising all the way up to stand. And I'll meet you in mountain pose, arms by the side body, crown of the head reaching tall. Okay. With your next inhale, your arms will lift. And now on your exhale, right hand around your left wrist. So we're going to give the wrist a little stretch. So give it a bit of a squeeze and a pull. And then once the right hand or right fingers are by the base of your left hand, then take it into a side stretch, reaching up and over towards the right side. And then come back through center and do the same thing on the other side. Give that right wrist also a little massage with your left hand. Pull. And then when it gets to the base of the hand, take it over towards the left and take it into a side body stretch. Breathing in and breathing out. Coming back through center on the inhale, take your arms wide, a bend in the knees, and we're folding forward, neutral spine. As you inhale, halfway lift, lengthen, and on your exhale, fold. Now from here, widen your feet, bring them shoulder width or wider than shoulder width. You could even go to edges of your mat. And we're going to come all the way out into a wide leg plank pose. So walking your hands forward. And then once you're in your wide leg plank, same things apply. Think about drawing lower belly in, pushing the floor away with your hands, broadening upper back, drawing that tailbone up and in, pushing back through the heels. Take a full inhale. And then keep your feet wide and take it into downward facing dog on your exhale. Heels are heavy towards the ground. You might need to step your feet a bit closer. With your next inhale, keep that body in down dog, lift your heels, and on your exhale, send your heels towards the right, pivot, and your toes are pointing towards the left. See if you can feel the stretch through the left side of the body, push through that left hand. As you inhale, come back through center, heels are lifted, and then take those heels over towards the left, toes are pointing to the right, and now see if you can find that side body stretch on the right side. Push through that right hand. Inhale, bring it back through center. Do it one more time each side. Exhale, left stretch, and inhale, center, and exhale, stretch for the right. Now as you inhale, coming back through center, and then heel to toe your feet back to hip width, so you're in your regular downward facing dog. Take a full inhale and a full exhale. With your next inhale, come out into plank pose. And on your exhale, return to downward facing dog. Take two more like that. Breathing in, plank. And breathing out, downward facing dog. One more. Breathing in. And breathing out. Now from your down dog, cross your right leg in front of the left. See if you can bring your feet to be next to one another, but your legs are crossed. And take a full breath and push those heels down. Send that chest towards the thigh. Full breath out. And then walk your hands towards your feet, but keep your legs crossed. Coming into a forward fold with your legs crossed. Walk your hands towards the right. And see if you can feel a stretch through the left side of the body. Breathing in and breathing out. And then come back through center. From here, we're going to lift the right heel. Your standing foot is going to be the left. And we're going to come into eagle pose. So see if you can lift your right foot off the ground, bend into your left. Maybe your right toe, tuck behind the left leg. Get yourself some balance, and you might be able to lift your torso all the way up. If that's the case, we'll add some eagle arms. So arms open out into a T, and your right arm is going to come under the left. Full breath in. And full breath out. One more here, inhale and exhale. From your eagle pose, unwind your arms, come all the way to stand. See if you can keep your right knee lifted. Take a full breath in. And then on your exhale, left hand to right knee, right arm reaches back, and you're turning towards the right in this balancing position. Squeeze through left glute, breath in, and breath out. Coming back through center, inhale, arms lift. On your exhale, return the same way. So come through your eagle, through your legs, plant your left foot, come into a forward fold with your legs crossed. And then as you inhale, walk your hands to the top of the mat, and you're back in your down dog with your legs crossed. With your next inhale, your right leg is going to reach up towards the ceiling. Bend that knee and find some circles with that right knee, right hip. Breathing in. And then opposite direction, breathing out. With your next inhale, extend that right leg all the way out behind you. And on your exhale, lower that right foot down. You back in downward facing dog. So option here of a child's pose for more of a rest, or 3 plank down dog transitions. So whatever feels that might be best for you. Whatever you're doing, stay with your breath. And then when you're ready, we'll meet back in downward facing dog, and we'll try to do all of that on the other side. So we're going to cross the left leg over the right. And again, you're trying to plant both feet. The heels don't have to plant, but you've got balls of the feet and toes planted. Send your hips up and back. Push the floor away with your hands. Cross leg down dog. And then begin to walk your hands towards your feet, so towards the back of the mat. Find your cross-legged forward fold, and then walk your hands towards the left. See if you can find a stretch through the right side of the body. Breath in. Breath out. A little bend into both knees is a good idea here. And then walk your hands back through center. And then we're going to prepare for our eagle pose on this side. So lift your left heel and then begin to bend into your right knee so that you can get that left thigh over the right thigh. Maybe those toes tuck behind, maybe they don't, that's fine. And then take your time. So you've got to stabilize first. Keep your fingers down. Keep bending into your standing leg, and then when you feel stable, lift the torso. And then once the torso is lifted, you might add those eagle arms. The arms can reach out into a T, and then your left arm is going to come under the right. Once you are here, think about lengthening through that spine. Steady breath and steady gaze. Breathing in. And breathing out. One more here. And then with the next inhale, we're going to unwind those arms and we're rising up. This time the left knee is going to stay lifted. Strong through your right leg, and then find your twist towards the left. Right hand can come to that left knee. Left arm reaches back. Breath in. And breath out. As you're ready, returning through center, you can reach your arms up, finding again those eagle legs. That left thigh crosses over. Bend into that right knee, see if your left toes can touch the ground, and then begin to fold forward. You're finding your forward fold, and once you've got that, walk your hands forward. And you've got your cross leg downward facing dog. Left leg is in front. And then as you inhale, uncross the legs and left leg lifts up towards the ceiling. Bend that knee and find some movement, if it feels good, into that left hip. Both directions. And then let's extend that left leg out and gently plant it back into your regular downward facing dog. Take an inhale and take an open mouth exhale. Walking those hands again towards the back of the mat, towards your feet. And then forward fold, hold on to opposite elbows. Nice generous bend in your knees. Can you let go of any extra tension, maybe holding in neck, maybe jaw? One more breath. And then releasing those hands, walk your hands forward, but let's come all the way into a table pose. Lower your knees to the mat. Your hands under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. Untuck your toes, and again, maybe a little tap of the tops of the feet against the ground. Pushing the floor away. Going to find a bit of a counter stretch for the wrists. So let's start with the left hand. Turn the palm up, fingers point towards you. Top of the hand to the mat, wrist or top of the shoulder pointing forward. You might stay here. You might send your hips slightly back. Give a little push through the fingernails. Take a breath in and take a breath out. And then come back, flip the hand, palm down, and same thing now with the right hand. So fingers point towards you, top of the hand to the mat, wrist towards the top of the mat, and maybe gently taking your hips slightly back. Don't overdo it. And just give a little push through the fingers. Breathing in and breathing out. One more here. And then coming back onto that palm, bring the big toes to touch, slide your knees wide and come all the way into a child's pose. Options here, you could have your arms out, you could grab opposite elbows. If you want a little bit more of a different stretch for your shoulders, more like of a rounding or a stretch through between the shoulder blades, you might try bringing your hands between your legs, so kind of underneath you, and as if you were trying to bring your hands or the tops of your hands onto the soles of the feet. And then bring the forehead towards the mat. Get your shoulders as close to the ground as you can. And then you could squeeze your knees into your shoulders some. And now breathe into that back body. A couple more breaths. Now if your hands are between your legs, bring them back through, forward. And then bring your knees back to hip width. Okay, last one here with those legs, those feet. So once again, see if you can come onto the balls of the feet. So tucking your toes, sitting on your heel. And we'll just find a little neck stretch, and then we'll come down onto a regular seat. So take a breath in at center. And then on your exhale, left ear towards left shoulder. Maybe add the left hand to the head, a little bit more weight. Maybe walk your right fingers out to the side. Full breath in. And a full breath out. And then coming back through center, release. And when you're ready, take it over to the other side. It's okay to take a pause in between if you need to. Right ear eventually towards right shoulder. And then left hand could add some weight. Or right hand, sorry. And then left hand could walk out to the side. And then head coming back through center. If you are still on the balls of the feet, you're welcome to play around with that balance again. See if you could lift your knees, come onto the balls of the feet without using your hands. And then maybe also without using your hands, you lower your heels. And then eventually you lower your sit bones and you find a seat. And if you're out at the back of the mat, feel free to shuffle forward or to the middle of your mat. So your legs will be in front of you. Bring your feet a bit wider, your knees wide, hands on your shins, and cow and cat, breathing in and breathing out. And again, inhale and exhale. And one more time, inhale and exhale to round. With your next inhale, find neutral spine, walk your feet back to hip width, reach your arms out in front of you, take a breath in. And then on your exhale, come down, lower back and mid back. And then see if you can pause with your shoulder blades and your head off the ground. Your arms are reaching forward. And now you might stay here, pressing that lower back down into the mat, or you might try extending the right leg. You might hover it over the mat. You might extend the left leg and hover it over the mat. This can be quite intense, so you can always bend those knees. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Last one here, lower belly is really working hard. And then on your exhale, gently lower the legs, lower upper back, lower head, lower your arms. Nice work. Bring the right knee into your chest and give it a squeeze. Find some rotation through your right ankle. Wiggle through those right toes. And then we're going to take it into a reclined twist. So no need to have the right thigh very close to your chest. You could send it away from you some. And then with your left hand, guide that right knee over towards the left side. Try to keep your torso facing up. Right arm can extend over to the right side, but that right shoulder doesn't have to be on the ground. See if you can feel the stretch through the right side of your chest. Breath in and breath out. And then use your next inhale to return through center. Give that right knee a squeeze into your chest. If it feels good, lift the forehead towards that right knee. And then release. Bring the left knee in, extending your right leg out. And give that left knee a squeeze. Find some rotation through your left ankle. Wiggle through the left toes. And then when you're ready, we'll take it into this reclined twist now towards the right side. So that right hand can accompany that left knee over towards the right. And only take it as far as feels comfortable. So sometimes this doesn't mean that your knee's got to go all the way over to the floor. You might even find your block and plant it to the right and let your knee or foot rest on it. Or it might stay somewhat in the air. Your left arm can come out into a T to the left, or you could do cactus arms. And just think about finding some space in the left side of your chest. Breathing in and breathing out. And then as you're ready, returning through center, give that left knee a squeeze to the chest. And if it feels good, maybe you're lifting the forehead towards that knee without adding too much tension. And if the head was lifted, gently place it down and then bring both knees into the chest. Bring the hands behind your thighs and then lift your legs towards the ceiling. If it feels good, lift your sit bones or lift your sacrum. You can bring your hands to your lower back and you might go into a shoulder stand or any version of a shoulder stand. So it doesn't have to be a full shoulder stand. Just the lifting of the hips might feel good. The legs might go overhead. If you are familiar with shoulder stand and it feels good, you might draw those elbows a bit closer towards one another and then begin to lengthen your legs straight up, squeezing through the glutes. Gaze down the midline, so you're looking at your toes or your belly. Full breath in and full breath out. And then if your legs were up, your hips were up, gently begin to lower those hips back to the ground. And then bend your knees and plant your feet. Bring your feet a bit wider, let your knees rest against one another, pigeon toe the feet, big toes a bit closer than heels. And then bring your hands to your belly. Take a breath in and a breath out. And with your hands on your belly, can you take the longest inhale available to you at this moment? And then can you take the longest exhale available to you at this moment? And you might even give it a second try. See what the longest inhale available is like. And then see what the longest exhale available to you now is like. And then let your breath be just a normal automatic breath, minimum effort. And find the most comfortable position to spend the last few minutes of practice. See if you can let yourself settle. See if you can embrace not doing. I'll be quiet for the next couple minutes and I'll guide you out when we're ready. And now notice where your mind is at. Notice any thinking. And then try to draw your attention back to your breath. And as you find the movement of your breath, add some more movement. Your fingers, your toes, your ankles, your wrists, any other movement that feels good. Taking your time. If you were on your back, you might draw those knees into your chest, give yourself a squeeze. And then you might choose to roll onto your side or roll up all the way into a seated position. We will meet there. Hands resting on lap or bringing those hands to rest at the chest, finding that lifted spine, that softness through the face. And as always, just taking a moment to acknowledge the practice itself, acknowledging ourselves for practicing, acknowledging those who practice with us, acknowledging all those who make it possible. And ending with a word that means that the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.